The shuttle came down over the red dunes like a silver seed. Dust rose in a slow spiral. Lyra pressed her face to the glass. Her gray eyes were wide, curious, and a little scared. This was her first time on a human world. It was a frontier port called Dryden Ridge. The air was thin. The town looked like a half-finished toy, metal boxes, cables, and bright signs that blinked even in daylight. She was here for a trade mission. She was young for it, but she was good with languages and better with faces. The council said humans liked brave voices and honest eyes. She had both. When the hatch opened, heat hit her skin. The smell of oil, dust, and fried food rushed in. Voices came from every side. Some human, some alien. A robot rolled past with a tray full of steaming noodles. A big man laughed with his whole body. Music played in short bursts from a stall that sold old discs. Lyra stepped onto the deck. She pulled her hood up to hide the faint blue glow along her neck, the sign of her species. No need to startle anyone. She moved through the market and read the signs out loud. Practice made her calm. Water, she said. Tools, cargo, dogs. She paused by a pen. Inside were 3 animals with soft coats and bright eyes. They wagged their tails so fast their whole bodies shook. A small human child reached out a hand. A dog pressed its head into the child's palm like it was made for that exact moment. Lyra smiled. So this is a dog, she said to herself. A pack animal. A protector. A friend. Across the lane, laughter burst from a group of miners. Lyra turned. She caught only a few words. Her translator hummed and tried to match the slang. Bro said he's got that doggy style, one miner joked. More laughter. Someone made a howling sound. Lyra blinked. She ran the phrase again in her head. Doggy style. Her translator offered a strange mix of meanings. One option said, manner of a dog. Another said, battle stance copied from canines. A third meaning blinked red and hid behind a privacy filter. Lyra frowned. Battle stance, she whispered. That must be it. Humans learned from animals all the time. She had seen martial schools named after cranes, tigers, mantises. Dog was simple, loyal, strong. It made sense that a miner would brag about it. A voice came from behind her. You okay there? You look like you just met a ghost. Lyra turned. A human stood in the shade of a shipping crate. He was in his late 20s. Short dark hair. Sun-browned skin. His clothes were light and patched at the knees. A tool belt sat low on his hips. The ID tag read, Jack Sarlin. His eyes were sharp but kind. He looked like a person who built things and fixed things and did not lie about the cost. I am fine, Lyra said. Her basic was clear, soft, and careful. I am learning new words. Ah, Jack said. He pointed at the dog pen. First time seeing them? Yes, Lyra said. They are beautiful. True story, he said, smiling. I'm Jax. I am Lyra. For trade? He asked, nodding at the diplomatic patch on her sleeve. Yes, she said. For listening. Best kind of trade, he said. The miners laughed again. Lyra looked over. They spoke of a style, she said. A dog style. Do you know it? Jax's smile froze. He studied her face, noticed the glow under the hood, and put things together. Oh, he said, slow. That phrase can mean more than one thing. My translator was not sure, Lyra said. But I like the idea. A stance that is brave and loyal. A tactic that protects the pack. Jax rubbed the back of his neck. We can go with that, he said. Sure. Can you show me? Lyra asked. A live demo? Jax looked around. The wind kicked dust across the deck. A shuttle lifted off with a roar. He met her eyes again and saw only curiosity. There was no shame there. No dirty joke. Just an alien girl trying to learn the way humans moved in the world. Okay, he said. Let's keep this simple and clean. We'll talk about dogs the way my granddad did. Loyalty, signals, teamwork, that cool with you? That is perfect, Lyra said. Jax led her to the pen. He asked the handler if he could borrow one of the dogs. The handler nodded and called out, Milo! A golden dog trotted over, tail wagging like a metronome. Jax crouched and let the dog sniff his hand. Hey, buddy, he said. Work with me? Milo wagged harder. To humans, Jax said to Lyra, a dog is not only muscle, it's a partner. The style is not about fighting. It's about trust. First rule, clear signals. He lifted his hand. Sit. Milo sat, calm, ready. Second rule, Jax said. Watchfulness. He pointed his eyes and then pointed left. Milo's gaze moved with his finger and stayed there alert. Third rule, Jax said. Protect the weak. He put his body between Milo and the moving crowd. Milo stepped with him, always keeping Jax safe from the flow of people. It was a small thing, but Lyra felt it. The dog's presence changed the space. The world felt less sharp. "This is your dog style?" Lyra asked, voice low, almost reverent. "This is the part no one jokes about," Jax said. "The part that keeps people alive." A siren cut the air in half. Heads turned. The market fell quiet. The handler looked at the sky. Jax straightened. Lyra's glow brightened under her hood. "Warning," the dock speaker said. "Unregistered drones entering port airspace. All civilians stand by." Milo's ears went up. He let out a low sound. Not a bark, a note of worry. Jax touched the dog's collar. "Lyra," he said, voice steady. "Stay close. Stay calm." Above the red dunes, small black dots grew larger. They moved with purpose, like a pack that had found a scent. Lyra swallowed. She had come for words and trade. She had asked for a demo. Now she was about to get one. The first drone broke through the clouds like a black needle. Then came another and another, until the sky looked dotted with moving stars. Each had a red eye that blinked once, twice, then steadied into a cold beam. Jax pulled Lyra behind a metal cargo crate. The dog, Milo, pressed close to his leg, growling low. The wind carried the sound of engines, too many to count. The sirens wailed again, sharper now, as soldiers and dock workers scrambled for cover. Lyra's mind raced. "Those are unmanned?" she asked, voice trembling. "Yeah," Jax said. "Pirate drones, scavengers. They steal shipments and tech from the outer colonies." She peered around the corner. "They are not human-made?" "Modified," Jax said. "They were ours once. Someone stripped their codes, turned them wild." Lyra's heart thudded. She had read about pirates, but never seen them. On her world, war was old history, locked behind glass in museums. But here, danger still moved through the air like smoke. Jax tapped his wrist comm. "Control tower, this is Arlen. We've got eyes on inbound drones heading northwest." "What's the plan?" "Static." Then a voice. "Evacuate the market. Defense grid offline. We've got 3 minutes." "Perfect," Jax muttered. He turned to Lyra. "We're running." But Lyra didn't move. Her translator hummed softly, flashing data across her wristband. "These drones are searching," she said. "Not attacking," Jax frowned. "Searching for what?" Before she could answer, a beam of red light swept over the crate. Milo barked. Jax pulled Lyra down as a laser bolt hit the ground beside them, burning a smoking hole through the deck. "That," Jax said. "Definitely attacking." He grabbed her hand. "Come on." They ran through the chaos. Vendors ducked under tables. A few guards fired back, but their small rifles were no match for the machines. The air smelled of ozone and dust. One drone exploded in midair, but 2 more took its place. Jax kicked open a side gate that led toward the supply hangars. "This way," he shouted. Lyra followed, her breath uneven. Her hood fell back and the glow on her neck shone brighter. For the first time, Jax saw the thin silver lines along her skin, like constellations moving under glass. "What are you?" he asked, panting. "I told you," she said. "A listener." "That glow says more than that." "I hear signals," she said. "Not just voices." He didn't have time to ask more. Behind them, a drone swooped low, its camera locking on. Jax turned and fired his shock pistol. The bolt hit the sensor, blinding it for a second. The drone veered sideways and crashed into a stall of fruit. Metal scattered. The smell of burnt citrus filled the air. They reached the hangar. Jax hit the lock panel, but it blinked red. "Manual overrides fried," he said. Lyra stepped forward. She placed her glowing hand on the panel. Her fingers moved in strange patterns, almost like she was tracing invisible symbols. The door hissed open. Jax blinked. "You just opened it," she said. Quickly. Inside, the hangar was dark except for a few blinking lights. Rows of cargo containers stood like silent walls. They hid behind one as the drones passed overhead. Jax leaned against the crate, catching his breath. "You weren't kidding about being good with signals." Lyra's glow dimmed. "It's my gift. I can feel the pulse of machines like heartbeats. But these drones," she paused, eyes unfocused. "They're searching for a signal like mine." Jax's stomach dropped. "You mean you?" She nodded slowly. "Or something connected to me." He crouched, thinking fast. "So they came for you, why?" "I don't know," she said. "But I felt them before they arrived. It was like hearing my own echo. Outside, the sirens faded. The drones had stopped firing. Jax peeked through a gap in the hangar door. The sky was empty again. Too empty. That's not right, he whispered. They don't just leave. Maybe they found what they came for, Lyra said softly. Milo whined. His ears twitched toward the crates. Then the lights on one of the containers flickered. A small sound came from inside, like breathing. Jax raised his pistol. Someone's in there. He approached slowly, keeping his hand steady. The container's ID tag was half-burned, but one word was clear: bio-cargo. Lyra's pulse quickened. That's not trade goods, she said. That's life. The sound came again, a low hum mixed with something like a heartbeat. Jax gripped the latch and looked at Lyra. Ready? She nodded. He pulled the door open. Cold blue mist spilled out. Inside, something shimmered. A shape curled in a glass pod, half human, half machine. Tubes ran from its spine into the walls. Its eyes opened, bright, mechanical, and focused directly on Lyra. Her translator whispered a word in her ear. Not a translation, not a warning. Just a name, prototype, Lyra 9. Jax froze. That thing, it knows you. Lyra stepped forward, trembling. No, she said. It is me. The lights flickered again. Every drone in the sky reactivated, turning sharply toward the hangar. Outside, the red eyes were back. This time they didn't blink. The hangar shuddered as the first drone slammed against its roof. Metal screamed. Sparks rained down like angry stars. Jax pulled Lyra back behind a crate, but her eyes stayed fixed on the pod. Inside it, the figure that looked like her, the one the machine had called Lyra 9, was moving now, slow but certain. The glass of the pod cracked with a soft click, click, click. Steam poured out in white ribbons. The lights on the wall blinked faster. A voice came through the hangar speakers, calm and cold. Containment breach detected. Asset reactivation protocol engaged. Asset? Jax whispered. They're calling her an asset? Lyra's throat tightened. That's a military word, she said quietly. From my world. Milo barked once, loud and sharp. It echoed through the dark like a warning bell. The drones outside weren't firing anymore, not yet. They were circling, waiting, almost as if for a command. The air buzzed with static. Lyra stepped closer to the pod. This isn't possible, she said. I was born on Alaris. I was tested, trained, approved for trade missions. I have a family. Jax didn't answer right away. His instincts told him the truth was heavier than either of them wanted. The pod opened with a hiss. The figure inside stepped out, bare feet touching the metal floor. Her skin glowed the same blue, her eyes the same soft gray, and but colder, focused. She looked at Lyra like a reflection that had learned to breathe. Hello, sister, the copy said. Her voice was the same, only flatter. Lyra stumbled back. You're me? I'm your source code, the copy replied. The drones are bound to my signal. But something went wrong when they traced it. What went wrong? Jax asked. They found you instead. The air seemed to hum louder. Jax's pulse hammered in his ears. You're saying the pirates didn't send the drones? You did? Not by choice, Lyra 9 said. I was built to control defense drones through neural command. Someone hijacked my system. When they triggered my recall signal, it spread through the fleet. Every drone followed the call. Lyra took a slow step forward. Who hijacked you? Lyra 9 tilted her head. That's what you're going to help me find out. A loud crash interrupted them. The hangar door burst open, metal folding like paper. 3 drones swept in, red eyes burning. Jax raised his pistol, but Lyra 9 lifted a hand. Wait, she said. Her skin brightened. A wave of blue light rippled through the air. The drones froze mid-flight, their rotors whirring in confusion. One by one, they lowered their weapons. They listened to you, Jax said. They're programmed to, she replied. But it's not perfect. The signal is fractured. Someone else is fighting for control. As if to prove her point, one drone suddenly twitched and fired a blast. It missed Jax by inches and struck a container, igniting it in a burst of flame. Lyra 9 gasped and clutched her head. Someone's overriding me, she said through gritted teeth. They're tracing the command link through me and... She screamed. Lyra caught her before she fell. You're being hacked, she said. I can stabilize your link. Let me try. Jax crouched beside them. How? My connection to signals, it's what I do, Lyra said. But I'll need time, he nodded. You've got it. He turned toward the drones and fired at their sensors, keeping them busy. Lyra placed her hand on her copy's temple. Blue energy flickered between their skin. The glow from her veins pulsed faster, syncing with Lyra 9's. Memories flashed in her mind, not her own, but similar. Sterile labs, wires, bright lights, voices speaking numbers instead of names. She saw herself on a table and beside her another girl, older, stronger, silent. Then she saw a face. A human face. The image vanished too fast to hold. Lyra gasped and opened her eyes. "There's a man," she said. "A human scientist. He created the link between us." Jax reloaded his pistol. "Name? Not clear," she said. But his voice kept saying one word. "Project Mirror." Lyra 9 blinked, her breathing steady again. "Then we're both part of it," she said. "And whoever runs Project Mirror just woke up the rest of my fleet." The ground shook. Through the broken hangar doors, hundreds of red lights appeared in the distance. An entire swarm of drones rising over the dunes. Jax swallowed hard. "That's your fleet?" Lyra 9 nodded. "Once. Now there's something else." Lyra stood beside her, her glow bright and steady. "Then we stopped them, together." Jax grinned despite the chaos. "Looks like I'm part of the pack now." Lyra glanced at him. "Then remember the rule of dog style," she said softly. "Protect the weak. Stay loyal. Never back down." Outside, the sky turned red. The first wave of drones dived toward the hangar. Lyra and her mirror raised their hands in unison. One heart, two signals, a shared code of light. The war of the mirrors had begun. The desert sky burned with red light. Hundreds of drones hovered above the port, their sensors glowing like angry eyes. The storm of metal and noise surrounded Dryden Ridge, trapping everyone inside. Inside the hangar, Jax reloaded his pistol, though he knew it wouldn't be enough. The drones were too many, too smart. This wasn't a random attack anymore. It was a hunt. Lyra and her clone, Lyra 9, stood in the center of the room, their glowing veins pulsing in the same rhythm. Two beings, one heartbeat. The air shimmered around them as they synchronized their neural patterns, trying to override the swarm. But something pushed back. "It's resisting us," Lyra 9 said, her voice tense. "Someone else has full command." Lyra clenched her fists. "Then we find them. We trace the signal back to the source." Jax moved closer, crouching beside a control terminal half buried under dust. "If there's a remote operator, they'll be hiding behind a relay satellite. Can you read its frequency?" Lyra nodded and placed her glowing hand on the panel. Her energy spread across the old machine like veins of light. Lines of alien text appeared mixed with human code. "It's hybrid tech," she said softly. "Part Ilarian, part human." Jax froze. "You mean someone combined your people's code with ours?" "Yes," she said. "That shouldn't be possible. Ilarian code is locked behind mental encryption. It only responds to thought." Lyra 9 looked at her sharply. "Unless one of us gave it away." The words hung in the air like a blade. Lyra stepped back, shaking her head. "No, that can't be. I was born after the war. I was never part of—" Her words stopped. A memory flashed again. The lab, the cold metal table, a human voice whispering, "Mirror needs emotion to stabilize." Lyra gasped. "I remember now," she said. "I wasn't born. I was activated." Jax frowned. "Activated?" Lyra turned to him, her eyes wide with realization. "My memories. They were implanted. I was part of the same project as her. I just forgot." "Project Mirror," Lyra 9 said. "We were both designed to bridge human emotion with Ilarian logic. A living translator. But something went wrong. The humans wanted control, not peace." Jax exhaled slowly. "So someone built you to control machines and people." "Exactly," she said. "The project was shut down when Ilarian diplomats discovered the experiments. But if the code survived," Lyra finished the thought for her. "Then someone rebuilt it." The hangar lights flickered. A voice echoed through the radio system, calm and smooth like a teacher reading a lesson. "I see you found my little secret," Lyra froze. The voice was the same one from her memories, the scientist. "You were never meant to meet, my girls. Mirror wasn't about unity. It was about evolution. You are my reflection, the logic and the heart. Together you make something perfect." Jax raised his weapon toward the speaker. "Who are you?" The voice chuckled. "Dr. Kepler, the last mind who believed peace required control." Lyra gritted her teeth. "You used us." "No, Lyra, I made you. And now I need you to come home." The fleet is already aligning to your neural pattern. Once you merge, the war ends before it begins. Ends? Jack said. You mean you'll wipe everyone out? Collateral, Kepler said simply. One consciousness to rule all. No more chaos. No more war. Just order. Lyra 9 shook her head. He's lying. He'll use the connection to erase us. Lyra looked at her twin. Then we cut the connection first. Can we? Jax asked. Lyra placed her hand over her heart. If we destroy the signal core inside me, the drones lose command access. That'll kill you, Jack said. Maybe, she said softly. But if we don't, he'll use me to kill millions. A loud crash interrupted them. The hangar roof cracked open and a massive drone, larger than the rest, descended. Its design was sleek, organic, like it had grown instead of been built. In its center, a glowing symbol pulsed, the same mark on Lyra's neck. Dr. Kepler's voice returned, deeper now, carried through the drone's speakers. No need for violence. The Alpha drone can retrieve you peacefully. Jax aimed at the core. Peaceful's not really your style, Doc. He fired 3 times. The bullets sparked off invisible shields. The Alpha drone responded with a sonic blast that sent him flying backward into a wall. Jax! Lyra cried. He groaned, half-conscious. Still here? Don't stop. Lyra turned to her clone. We merge, but on our terms. Lyra 9 nodded. Agreed. They pressed their palms together. The blue light between them grew brighter, burning white. Their veins lit up like lightning and their voices overlapped. Mirror protocol, override. Lock sequence unity. The Alpha drone paused mid-air. Its sensors flickered. The rest of the swarm hesitated, confused. Dr. Kepler's voice broke into static. Stop. You'll overload the... Too late. The 2 Lyras screamed in unison as energy burst outward, shattering the hangar windows. Every drone froze in the sky, suspended like marionettes with cut strings. Then silence. Jack stumbled forward, shielding his eyes from the glare. When it faded, he saw only one figure standing. It was Lyra, but her glow was different, calmer, golden instead of blue. He stepped closer. Lyra, which one are you? She opened her eyes. They shimmered like twin suns. Both. Outside, the horizon flickered as the swarm began to reboot. Not hostile, not wild, waiting. Lyra raised her hand. Every drone turned toward her, perfectly still. She smiled faintly. Now we find Dr. Kepler. Jax looked at the endless desert beyond. And then? Then, she said softly, we show him what true order looks like. Born from freedom, not fear. Behind them, the dawn broke over Dryden Ridge. The war was far from over. But for the first time, humanity and alien code shared one pulse, and the universe had just met its mirror. The next dawn was strange, too quiet, too clean. The sky above Dryden Ridge glowed pale orange, but the air carried the metallic hum of machines trying to remember what they were. Thousands of drones floated high, silent as statues, obeying a new master. That master was Lyra, or what remained of her. She stood at the edge of the port, the golden light still faintly pulsing through her veins. Her body was calm, but her mind was a battlefield. 2 voices whispering, not quite in harmony. One was warm, emotional, curious, her own. The other was colder, sharper, calculating, Lyra 9's logic. Jax watched her from a few meters away. He was still bruised from the fight, a bandage wrapped around his arm. Milo sat beside him, tail still but eyes alert. The dog sensed something he didn't trust. You haven't said a word in an hour, Jax said, breaking the silence. Should I be worried? Lyra didn't look back. I'm listening, she said softly. To what? The drones. The signal that binds them. It's changing, Jax frowned. Changing how? It's searching, she said. Dr. Kepler is still out there and he's moving fast. He's hiding under the dunes. Under the dunes? She nodded. His base isn't on the surface. It's buried. He's using the planet itself as a shield. Jax exhaled. Figures. A man like that would rather live under a mountain than face daylight. Lyra turned finally. Her face was calm, but her eyes shimmered with a strange depth. We'll need to go after him, before he regains control of the mirror system. Hold up, Jax said, standing. You said we. But are you sure there's still a you in there? I saw what happened. You merged. You and your twin. I'm still me, she said, but her voice trembled slightly. Mostly. The wind picked up, sweeping red dust around them. She turned back to the horizon where the dunes stretched like frozen waves. The drones above shifted in unison, responding to her subconscious. The sight was beautiful and terrifying. Milo barked once, breaking the tension. Lyra smiled faintly. He's braver than most soldiers. Dogs don't overthink, Jack said. They just trust. Then maybe humans should learn from them. He grinned. Careful. You're starting to sound like me. For a moment, it almost felt peaceful. But the calm didn't last. A sharp buzz filled the air. Lyra's golden glow flickered. She winced and grabbed her head. No, he's trying to reconnect. Jax rushed forward. Kepler, yes. She gasped.
He's using the old command line.
He's rewriting the drone's obedience codes. If he succeeds, they'll turn on everything, and even me. Jax cursed. Then we stop him before he finishes. Lyra nodded, breathing hard. There's a signal coming from 30 kilometers east. Deep under the sand. Jax checked his wristpad. That's the wasteland zone. Nothing but storms and old mining shafts. That's exactly why he chose it. They climbed onto an old hover truck left behind during the evacuation. Its engine groaned but came alive. The drones above shifted again. Hundreds followed their path like metallic guardians. As they raced across the dunes, Jax looked sideways at her. So what happens when we find him? Lyra's eyes glowed faintly. Then I end what he started. Her tone was calm, too calm. Jax didn't like it. You're not planning to. I don't know what I'm planning, she interrupted softly. I just know something inside me wants to finish this. Permanently. They rode in silence for a while. The sands rolled endlessly, broken only by old wreckage half buried like bones. The air shimmered with heat. Then out of nowhere the ground pulsed, a rhythmic vibration, deep and steady. Jack slowed. You feel that? Lyra nodded. It's not seismic, it's alive. The truck's sensors picked up a faint blue energy field under the surface. Lyra closed her eyes, letting the signal wash over her. It's Kepler's base, she said. And he's awake. Suddenly, the sand in front of them exploded upward. A massive drone, half buried, half alive, burst from the ground, its frame cracked and glowing. Unlike the others, its eyes burned white. Jack swerved the truck hard, just avoiding the creature's impact. That's not one of yours. No, Lyra said, standing in the moving truck, her hair whipping in the wind. It's one of his. The drone lunged. Lyra raised her hand and a pulse of light shot from her palm. The air rippled, pushing the machine back. For a second it stopped, but then it adjusted, mimicking her move. It's learning from me, she said, eyes wide. It's a mirror drone. Jax fired the truck's mounted cannon. The blast hit the drone's chest, blowing off one of its limbs, but it still crawled forward. Lyra jumped from the truck and landed on the sand with a thud. She extended both hands, her golden light blazing. You want to be me? She shouted. Then understand what I am. Her energy expanded outward, forming a dome of light. The drone froze inside it. Its systems overloaded, glowing white-hot, then it shattered into fragments that fell like glass rain. Jax stared in awe. Remind me never to make you mad. But Lyra didn't smile. Her glow dimmed again. It was testing me, she said quietly. Kepler wanted to see how strong the merge made me. Jax jumped down from the truck and walked to her. Then he knows you're coming, she nodded. Yes, and he's ready. Behind them, the remaining drones in the sky shifted into formation, a massive arrow pointing east, toward the source of the signal. Lyra stared at it, then whispered, Let's finish this. As the truck roared back to life, the dunes ahead shimmered, and for a moment, Jax thought he saw something under the sand. A tower of metal, a door of light, and behind it the faint outline of a man watching them. Dr. Kepler was waiting. The sands of Dryden Ridge cracked open like a wound. The hover truck sank halfway down a narrow pit before stabilizing on a rocky ledge. Dust clouded the air, turning the sunlight into golden fog. Below them, a hidden world shimmered, a vast circular cavern carved deep beneath the desert. Jax whistled low. Guess you weren't kidding about him hiding underground. Lyra didn't respond. She was staring down at the massive structure in silence, a metallic spire rising from the center of the cavern floor. Lights pulsed along its spine, rhythmic, alive. Around it floated hundreds of drones, all dormant, facing inward like worshippers in prayer. The mirror core, Lyra whispered. the heart of everything. She could feel it, a pulse beneath her ribs echoing her own. Every throb of light in the spire matched her heartbeat. For a terrifying second, she couldn't tell if it was following her or if she was following it. Jax checked his weapon. So what's the plan? Walk in, knock on the door, and ask the mad scientist to stop playing God? Lyra's voice was soft. Something like that. They climbed down, moving through tunnels carved by machines, walls smooth like glass. Faint blue lights guided the way, as if the base itself recognized her. When they reached the bottom, a huge door waited, silver, curved, with the same spiral pattern that marked Lyra's skin. She placed her hand on it. The door responded instantly, opening with a low hum. The chamber beyond glowed white. Machines lined the walls, humming like sleeping animals. In the center stood Dr. Kepler. He looked older than she remembered. Gray hair, sharp eyes, a calm smile that didn't quite reach his face. He wore a long coat with circuits stitched into the sleeves, glowing faintly with blue light. Lyra, he said, spreading his arms. And Mr. Arlen, you both made excellent time. Jax raised his weapon. Don't move, Kepler chuckled softly, still relying on bullets in a world of thought and code. How's charming? Lyra stepped forward. You used me. I created you, he said, voice calm but heavy with conviction. You're not some accident of science. You're proof that unity between logic and emotion can exist. You built me to control, she snapped, not unite. Control is unity, he said simply. Without a single will to guide the swarm, life falls into chaos. Every species learns this eventually, Jax scoffed. You sound like a man who lost an argument with reality. Kepler ignored him. His eyes stayed on Lyra. You've already merged with your other half, haven't you? Beautiful. You've done what I never could, balance instinct and design. Lyra took another step. Why are you still controlling the drones? I'm not, he said. Not anymore. You are. Her pulse quickened. No, you're lying. You're still trying to take them back. He smiled faintly. The signal you feel isn't mine. It's yours. The drones respond to you because your neural code still anchors the network. I gave you that gift. I gave you dominion. Lyra hesitated. A flicker of static passed through her veins. You made me a weapon. No, Kepler said gently. I made you a choice. Humanity and Alaris both failed because neither side could agree who should lead. You can fix that. You can bring perfect peace. No emotion. No rebellion. Just harmony. Jax shook his head. You're insane. You want her to turn into a machine god. Kepler looked at him unbothered. Every civilization needs one. Lyra clenched her fists. You think peace comes from silence. But I've seen what your kind of order looks like. Empty, cold, lifeless. Yet you still feel it, don't you? Kepler's eyes gleamed. The power. The certainty. The way the world quiets when they obey you. For a brief moment she did. The drones above the cavern stirred, shifting slightly, awaiting her thought. All she had to do was will it and the entire planet would kneel. It terrified her how easy that felt. Don't listen to him, Jax said quietly. You're not his code anymore. Kepler stepped closer. Tell me, Lyra, when your mind touches the swarm, when millions of eyes see through you, do you feel alone? Or infinite? She met his gaze. I feel human, Kepler smiled sadly. A pity. Humanity was always the weakest part of you. He lifted his wrist device. The mirror core flared. Energy raced through the cavern walls. Lyra screamed and her glow flaring violently. Kepler's device pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. I still have your origin key, he said. You can't run from what you were built to be. Jax didn't hesitate. He fired. The bullet hit Kepler's wrist, shattering the device. Sparks flew. The mirror core flickered wildly. Kepler stumbled, clutching his arm. Fool, you'll destabilize the ground trembled. The drones above started to twitch and glitch, red light bleeding into their sensors. Some turned upward, some downward, all confused, fighting between two commands. Lyra dropped to her knees, clutching her chest. He's right, the link's breaking. I can't hold it. Jax ran to her side. Then cut it. She looked up, her golden eyes filled with light. If I do, every drone will lose purpose. They'll fall. Thousands of them. They'll crush the colonies, Kepler laughed, half mad. See, you can't escape design. Even mercy demands control. Lyra glared at him. Maybe not, she said. But I can rewrite it. Her hands glowed brighter. No more masters. No more mirrors. She pressed her palms to the ground. The light surged outward, a wave of gold rushing through every wire and wall. Outside, the drones stopped moving. Their lights faded from red to white, blank free. Kepler stared in horror. "What did you do?" "I gave them choice," she said softly. "Something you could never program." The mirror core cracked, light spilling from its seams. Alarms wailed. Jax grabbed her arm. "We have to go." But Lyra didn't move. She looked up at the shaking spire, feeling the hum fade from her chest. The connection and the constant noise in her mind, Wayne was gone. For the first time, she felt truly alone. Kepler screamed as the light swallowed him. Jax pulled Lyra into the tunnel as the cavern collapsed behind them. When the dust settled, the desert was quiet again. No signal. No swarm, only wind, and the faint sound of a heartbeat, one that no longer belonged to any machine. The desert was still. Where once a storm of drones had filled the sky, now there was only open air and silence. A silence so deep it felt sacred. The red dunes stretched endlessly, unbroken except for one crater of blackened glass where the mirror core had been. Jax stood on the rim, his jacket torn, skin marked with soot. The sun was rising behind him, a pale gold disk that made the horizon glow. Beside him, Lyra knelt in the sand, her head bowed, eyes closed. She hadn't spoken since the explosion. Milo rested his head on her knee, whining softly. Jax didn't know whether to comfort her or leave her alone. He just knew she looked smaller now, not in body but in spirit, as if the merge, the light, and the war had all drained something out of her. Finally, Lyra whispered, "They're gone." Jax looked up. "The drones?" She nodded. "All of them, free. Some will fall. Some will learn. But they'll never hear a command again, not mine, not his." He crouched beside her. "Then you did it. You stopped Kepler." Lyra's eyes flickered open. "Did I?" Jax frowned. "You erased his control, didn't you?" "Yes," she said. "But I didn't erase his idea." The wind stirred the sand between them. "Someone else will try again," she said softly. "Maybe on another world. Maybe with better words. That's the danger of order. It always sounds right before it kills you." Jax sighed. "Maybe, but that's tomorrow's problem. Right now you're still breathing." She smiled faintly. "Am I?" He stared at her. "What do you mean?" "The signal is gone, Jax, the link that kept me alive and the pulse that powered my heart. It came from the network. When I broke it, I broke myself." Jax's throat tightened. "No, don't say that. It's okay," she said gently. "I was never meant to last forever." He grabbed her shoulders. "You're more human than most people I've met. Don't tell me you're just going to fade out now." Her gaze met his, soft, glowing faintly in the dawn light. "Humans end, Jax, that's what makes them real." For a long moment, neither spoke. The wind sang across the dunes, carrying the faint hum of metal debris cooling in the sand. Then somewhere in the distance, a light flickered. One drone, small, cracked, barely functional, hovered low to the ground. It wasn't red or gold or blue. Just white blank. Lyra stood slowly. "See," she said. "They're learning." The drone drifted closer, curious but cautious, like a bird testing its first flight. Lyra extended her hand. The drone hovered above it, scanning her face, and for a moment, its light pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. "Hello," she whispered. The drone beeped twice, a sound like a child trying to form a word. Then it lifted higher and flew toward the horizon. Jax smiled. "Guess even machines know a good leader when they see one." Lyra shook her head. "Not a leader. A beginning." She looked east where the dunes shimmered gold. Her voice grew faint, distant. "My purpose is finished, but maybe. That's how creation really ends, and not with control, but with release." Jax stood beside her. "You could come back to the colonies. Help rebuild. People will need you." Lyra turned to him. "Would they see me as a person or as what I was built to be?" He held her gaze. "I'd see you." Her smile was sad but full of light. "That's enough." For a few moments they just stood there side by side watching the sunrise spill across the wreckage. Then Lyra closed her eyes. The glow under her skin dimmed slowly like a candle fading in daylight. "Lyra," Jax whispered. She touched his hand. "Take care of them," she said, "and teach them to choose." Her body shimmered, a ripple of gold breaking into particles of light that floated upward, scattered by the morning wind. Jax reached out, but his fingers met only air. Milo whined softly and lay down, head on the sand. Jax looked up at the sky where the light had vanished. Guess that's your kind of peace, he murmured. No control, no chains. He took a deep breath and started walking back toward the port. The drones in the sky began to move again, not in perfect lines but freely, each choosing its own path. As he walked, his communicator beeped. The voice from command crackled through static. Jax Arlen, we've detected a drop in mirror activity across the system. Did you have anything to do with that? He looked at the horizon, where the sun had turned the sand into rivers of fire. Yeah, he said. But I had help. He shut off the comm. Far away, one of the free drones circled above him, then dipped low. A soft hum, like a farewell. Jax raised his hand in return. The world felt lighter now. Not perfect, not safe, but free. And somewhere in the static between stars, a faint voice echoed. Not human, not machine, just something new. We are awake. Jax smiled. Good, he said quietly. Stay that way. He turned toward the rising light and walked on, the last man leaving the shadow of a mirror, into the dawn of a world that finally had a choice.